Awakens. Preston Dennett, joined by Dolly Safran, guiding you beyond the veil and into the infinite unknown. Every week we unlock high strangeness, extraterrestrial contact, hidden realms, psychic awakenings, the afterlife, and secrets they don't want you to know. Step through the gate, and if you feel the calling, subscribe to the channel and share it with those ready to awaken.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of The Light Gate. We're coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are on Facebook, we're on Roku, we are on Rumble, and we are on YouTube. I want to thank our sponsors. Carnation, thank you all very much. We love you guys. You've been with us for a little while now, and we're really enjoying the fact that we got you. Thank you. Okay, Preston, it's a night where we're going to do what we're going to do.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for episode 146 of The Light Gate. We have a wonderful guest tonight. It's you. We're doing an open mic night, Q&A. So get your questions in early. We love just having a chat with you guys. Again, it's because of you we do this show, so thank you so much for joining us. Super excited. And what else is going on? Still putting translations in for all of my videos on YouTube. I'm just about done. And then, of course, I will start working on the Lightgate episodes. Most of the recent ones have been translated into more than 170 different languages. That includes Zulu, Haitian Creole, Sanskrit, all kinds of Swati even. So yeah, if you speak a foreign language, you can absolutely watch this show. We are trying to really reach out to all people on this planet because all people deserve to know the truth. I also have another little bit of exciting news. Certainly for me, I've reached a milestone on my YouTube channel of over 50,000 subscribers. Huge thanks to all of you folks out there. It's because of you. So I absolutely appreciate your support in helping me to get there. I'm so excited. All right. So we're just going to dive right into it. I am going to say a very quick hello to you folks because we love you so much. And then we'll just get started. So please do get your questions in there. We're going to be doing a book giveaway as well. Not yet. I'll let you know how that works the second hour, and that should be all kinds of fun. Giving away 3 copies of Schoolyard UFO Encounters. So that's going to be all kinds of fun, and we'll get to that shortly. But let's see who we got going on here. We have Teresa Levine. Hello, Teresa. Thanks for joining us. Scarlet Fire. We got the Owl Man. Astrid Greer, open mic. So grateful for these. Oh, yeah, we love to do them. We try to do them at least, once every 2 months or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time. Michael Kennedy, we love you, Michael. Thanks for joining us. And Sharice Bazila.
Hello, Sharice.
Foggy Notions podcast. We've got lots of wonderful folks here. Lil Dove. We got Poetic Poems. And we got Aurora Comedy Vid. Namaste. Thank you so much. I just don't know how you do it, but we are absolutely grateful.
Love you. Thank you.
Scarlet Fire.
Scarlet. Hi.
Who else do we have? Patsy Foister. Did I already say
Patsy?
Either way, we love you. My bud, K for you. Hello, Light Gators. So happy to be here with all of you. We are glad you could join us. We got Daniel from East Tennessee.
Hi.
Quite a few other folks. Let me see. Sonny Burnett. Thank you so much, Sonny.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate it.
Yep.
Jordy Dan, all the way from England. Thanks for staying up late for us. We got Flubber Lane. We've got Painting the Sky. We've got all kinds of people. So thank you guys so much. Not sure. I think I've gotten pretty much everybody here. Oh, Joyce. We love you, Joyce.
Hi, Joyce.
Well, thanks for joining us. Benno from Oz. Oh, there's a question. Thank you, Olivia. I've put a little star on that. Yedium. I had a question, but I forgot. I feel for you. Hopefully it'll come back. Okay, all work and low pay.
Boy, I feel like that sometimes.
I have that one on Audible. I have no idea how many school cases there are. Well, if you have that book, we can always replace it with another. I've got several choices. There's a good question from the Sunken Lantern. Thank you. Okay, I'm just starring these questions while I say hello to all you folks. Hey, you missed me, Louise.
Hi, Louise.
Every day, Louise. Yes, thanks for joining us. We love you. I love you too, guys, says Joyce. Very sweet. Okay, so first let me tell you a little bit about myself. Probably already know, so I'll be quick about it. I came to this field as a skeptic. Found out my brother Marco. I have 3 older brothers. That was tough for the 4th brother to keep up with him, let me tell you. But I did. Marco, my older brother, saw a UFO. That brought me into this field. Found out that probably 20-30% of the people I knew had encounters. There's 6 kids in us family. 3 of us have had encounters. The other 3 think we're crazy. Well, they did it first. But now they've come around, certainly. What else can I tell you? Joined MUFON, became a field investigator about a year in. Interviewed everyone I could get my hands on. Started writing articles for about 10 years. Wrote my first book in 1996, UFO Healing Cases. And right now, working on book 33. So that's me in a nutshell. Dolly, you just want to give a shout out about yourself?
I'm a generational contactee. I am completely conscious, wide awake. I have no missing time at all. I'm an ET child, partial child of ET. I'm hybrid. I've been learning with them my entire life. When I was 14, I decided at their invitation to learn how to fly craft. It took me 4.5 years, and right around my 19th birthday, I graduated and I became a pilot. My craft's name is Talata, and I fly with him. He has been the only one I fly with, actually. Had many adventures, gone here and there and everywhere. I've learned a lot of things. About 2015, I decided, because of the way things were going in the world, that I was going to come out. And I did. And I found Preston. Actually, ET gave me his name. Talata did. And I found him, and he called me right back. And he vetted me for about 6 years. Met him in 2016 at the UFO MegaCon, and it just went from there. Boom, 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 boom. So here we are. And glad to be here. Glad to be able to talk to you.
All right. Now, before I dive into some of these questions, and definitely you guys give us some questions because we're going to want them and need them. I thought I would start by asking Dolly a question. And Dolly, if you have a question for me, that would be fun. Sure. I'm going to start because we were talking. It's really interesting because every time we start talking about Dolly's experiences, I hear something new. And she told me something really interesting. There's been a lot of speculation and some reporting, I think compelling reporting, that the ET's eyes are not necessarily all black as they are described, but that rather this is a contact lens.
A type of contact, yes.
Dolly's confirmed that previously, but then she gave me some new information because I happened to ask her, like, okay, well, how do you put the, I don't like contact lenses. I do have a pair of glasses I use for driving, but the idea of putting something in my eye. So I asked her, how do they do that? Is it easy to take in? Is it easy to put out? Have you worn them? And the answer was pretty interesting. Dolly, can you tell us about these contact lenses? And why are they there? What are they made of? The whole deal.
Well, the eyes of the grays and the tall whites and most ETs, because they don't live on this planet with the sun and have the amount of sunlight we have here, and the ultraviolet radiation that we have here, their eyes developed a little bit differently. They don't have three color process; they have four in their eyes, and they see ultraviolet light really easily. Their lenses don't have a protective coating on them. You know, where your cataracts would get yicky on you. You know, that lens in your eye, so they see mostly ultraviolet light. They see the full spectrum of color in a way that we don't see it, but ultraviolet's at the top of it. They do see some infrared as well. So what that means is when they come into our solar system, they go blind with the light. It is too bright. It is too bright for me. As a matter of fact, I wish I had lenses on right now. My eyes right now, I'm looking at a very bright light right now. My no, no, I don't like it. So it's a lens. It's not like a contact lens. It doesn't just cover the iris. It covers the entire eyeball from end to end, top to bottom. And they put it in where you come up, and they have a little, it's like a, little thing you put up to your face, and you lean forward, and it puts it up on your eye while it holds your eye open, because it goes over your whole eyeball. And it stays there for the longest we wear them is about 6-7 hours, maybe 8 tops. And then what we do is we take our pinky, okay, and we tap it, and it pulls right out. It sticks to your pinky, and it just it pulls right out, and you trash it. It's recycled. It goes to get usually turned to ash. We can go through, depending on how long you're on board. I've gone through 3 or 4 pairs in a day, because it's easy to like bop your eye on something, or somebody come up to you and brush you, or you want to rub your eye. If you rub your eye, you trash it. It automatically it comes out. So you have to have it. And it is a sort of like a polarization shield, and it literally polarizes your vision so that any beyond ultraviolet, any very, very bright light that comes in that's over and above what their eyes can see or take, to protect the retina. That's why they wear them, and they all wear them. I'm very photophobic. I've always been that way. It's part of my hybridization, and I've never been able to handle bright light my whole life. And so when I would come aboard, they would put a lens on me to protect me. When I started flying, I absolutely fly with a lens on. I look like Children of the Corn with it on. It freaks me out. I never, there's no mirrors on board, and you can't see yourself anywhere. Okay. And I got one of the AI grays to look at me and transmit what I look like to him, to me. And I was shocked. I was like, wow, yeah, I guess I am Children of the Corn for real. It's really creepy to see my face that way. It is. So yeah, they mostly are blue-eyed like we are, well, like I am, or blue-green-eyed. I actually have a green overlay in my eye. You can't see it unless you get right up to me, and you can see the green in my eye on top of the blue. And that's why they wear them. And it's they got 1 billion of them to put in, and you can throw them away, and they just have more and more and more. Even the AI grays wear them as well, even though that their eyes are darker. They're made that way to take better light, but it's still hard for them to see in our solar system. Our sun is very, very, very bright to them, and our atmosphere lets in a lot of light. So yeah, they wear them too.
Do they always wear them on board?
Yes.
At all times?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Coming into this solar system, yes. There are other places that I've been that the light levels are different, and no, we don't need them then. But if we're coming into anywhere where we've got the type of sun that we have, that's why we have to wear them, because we can't take the light.
Well, it's interesting, because a lot of contactees also report light sensitivity. So I wonder if that's because they're also...
Well, we're all related to them, and they've been hybridizing with us now for the last couple of centuries. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Very cool. All right. So I guess we can get going, unless you thought of a question for me.
Oh, well, yes.
Well, think about it.
No, I don't have to think about it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Okay, here we go.
Oh, no.
You have had many more experiences than you've alluded to the public. And it's basically because you still are working through them yourself, and you're trying to get through to what they are. One of them gets to me because I hear you talking about it, but you never, ever, ever mention it. And that is you being on board a craft that went to another place where you actually got to learn some stuff. And I want to hear about that. I want to know what you have to say about it publicly.
Well, there's a few of those. Are you talking about the one where I was with a bunch of other guys?
Students. Yes, students. Yeah.
Okay, there was a couple of those. I think the one you're talking about is one of my favorite. And this came as a dream, but it was different. I studied my dreams. I've written down all my dreams, or I used to. Not currently, I haven't, but I kind of know when a dream is a dream and a dream is a memory. And this one was absolutely different because I found myself in this giant room that I would say is about the size of a school auditorium, so a couple of 100 feet across maybe, and it had a giant vaulted dome ceiling and a very, very smooth, very clean, nothing in there except a bunch of tables that looked like they were formed to the floor. And on each table was a box-like device. And two people were assigned to each table. And there must have been about 50 or 60 of us. All guys, all young men. I had hair back then, so I know this. I was quite young when this happened, so probably my mid-20s. I'm thinking this is probably the incident where I had missing time in July of 1992, which would have made me 27 years old. So I'm guessing that's when it's from. But at any rate, we were all being taught about how there are different energy sources. And this is what I perceived as a sort of free energy device. It wasn't. But I'm still trying to pull exactly what they were explaining it to me about, because I was more in awe of like where I was at. And the first thing I did was kind of look under it to see like, where's it plugged in? Of course, it's not plugged in. And I don't remember much other than that, except to say that at some point, the lesson was over and I never got a clear look at who was teaching us, but they were off to the side. I shouldn't say that. I don't remember looking at them, but lesson was over and they brought us all to the edge of the room and they opened it up. And when I say they opened it up, it's like it was not there. It's not like there's a glass window you're looking out of. It's like it's not there. And there's a balcony that you actually go out on. So it was like looking, standing on a cliff edge in outer space. And they showed us the Milky Way. And we've all seen pictures of the Milky Way, but I can tell you haven't seen what it's like in real life until you have, because that was so beautiful. And this is what I think allowed me to remember it, because it was such a stunning sight that it was unforgettable. I mean, you could not imagine how beautiful that is. So clear, unlike anything you've ever seen on Earth. That was absolutely amazing. That was one of my best experiences. I've counted them up. There's probably like 20 of those kinds of experiences. So I'm slowly stitching together all of that. Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks, Dolly.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with the questions.
Preston's going to do all the reading tonight. I was at the eye doctor today and my eyes are still heavily dilated. So if I look weird, it's because of that. So.
All right, we'll start with Michael Kennedy. This is a little bit open-ended, Michael. I'm not sure how to approach this. Question is, Preston and Dolly, can you both do a current events topic touch? I'm very interested to see what you both think, what both of you think. Current events in what regard, Michael? Gosh.
I have a lot of opinions about that.
Okay. I mean, current events in terms of the UFO subject. What was the most recent one? I don't know. You'll have to give me a little bit more specificity, Michael, for me to really touch on that. But I'll think about it. You got any ideas, Dolly?
I think that everybody's worried about AI. I want to touch on what that means. Even Elon Musk. Elon Musk is being questioned a lot lately about AI and what he thinks about it and if it's worrying him at all. And he does worry about it. He's absolutely admitted to that. And there's a lot of out there about how are we going to handle AI taking over so much and what jobs would be available. And Elon Musk actually touched on this. He said, if you're a plumber, a tradesman, a pilot, a ship's captain, things like that, jobs that are hands-on that need direct human intervention to run them or do them, very physical things, that's probably your best bet to get into, like an airplane mechanic or a train mechanic or, an auto mechanic or a big machine mechanic, industrial mechanic, things like that. Also plumbers, also house builders, things like that. Those are the trades that humanity needs to think more about getting into. They pay really well, those trades. And but office jobs and exec jobs are going to be vanishing rapidly, and they already are. I'm not so sure about the world of fast food. I want to disagree in a lot of ways about this, because you can mechanize a farm, but you can't, or a restaurant or whatever. But I have a feeling that the quality of the product is going to drop dramatically. And I think we're already seeing that in mechanized farming as it is now. Farming is not way more technical than it was when I was a kid. And we're starting to suffer the problems coming from that. And I think that AI, we have to start drawing lines where AI is concerned, and fighting back against what the leader heads are saying we should let happen. I think that we need to, as a society, become more involved worldwide with saying, no, we draw a line here. You're not going to do this. I think that's what Elon Musk, by saying what laws or rules can we put in place to keep AI from taking completely over. So that's a very current thing right now.
So Michael says, I'm more interested in what both of you have been excited about recently about the UFO phenomenon and its entirety. I think probably for me, one of the most interesting developments is that this subject has become unprecedented in its popularity. This is a subject that is breaking into the mainstream in a way I never thought it would before. So I think that's really good news, because that means that more people are thinking about this, more people are taking it seriously, which gives us a much greater chance towards getting to the truth of things. I heard there was a recent Pentagon budget check, and they still can't account for most of the money they're spending, because we know where that's probably going, to reverse engineering and things like this, because this subject is the highest part of the top of their list. So I think that's probably the most exciting development, is that this subject is going to become increasingly popular and increasingly more seriously taken, I think. So we'll see. But I still don't trust our government when it comes to this. So these congressional hearings that we've had over the past few years, and I'm sure there's more coming up. I am not that interested in what they have to say until they're more truthful and transparent with this subject. Show us the Edwards Air Force Base landing footage. Gordon Cooper, the astronaut, saw the footage. He was there when it happened. Show us that. Admit to the truth of the Capitol flyover in 1952. Admit to Roswell. Show us more than a blurry dot of footage. Show us something that's not reverse engineered. It's an actual ET craft, because most of what they've shown is probably not even ET. So I am concerned about how it's rolling out, but more and more people interested in this subject will bring increasing pressure on it. So to me, that's the most exciting thing.
I'm side-eye all the way through all of this, okay? There's a couple of reasons why. Number one, ET are not here right now. They bugged out. That is a fact. Whether you all know it or not, it's very, very true. They're not here. The governments that are on the ground here, and the back engineering, and the alternate government that is in effect worldwide, is got complete control over every situation you could possibly imagine. almost like a cartel. And yeah, you're not being told the truth, and you're not going to be told the truth. And I think that it's important for us to understand that if you realize you're aware enough to know that this is a real subject and this really exists, to do the research yourself, to find out how much you can. You're not going to find it from them. The only people that are going to be able to give you any information are contactees, people who have left the government on purpose and are deliberately going to tell without being what's called a whistleblower, tell you the truth. And there are a lot of them on paper and in books already, that you could read. Buy as many books on this subject pre 1980 that you can find. Read all the people who were researching this beforehand. Oh, it's one of my favorites that you should read. Read. Study this, because a lot of information, they're hitting you with so much misinformation and disinformation now that it's a done deal. They have accomplished with great art not letting you be aware enough to know what the heck's going on. And so it's really up to you to develop your own awareness about this. And I tell everybody good luck and God bless, and please think this all through, because what it's all leading to is a bloody false flag that you all are already starting to buy. And I mean, the stories that are out of this world, outrageous BS that you all are hearing, and people come to me all the time, oh no, that's real. And it's like, no, sorry. And then you have physicists out there who take money from the government and are spreading more of that disinformation. And then there are other physicists who are trying to raise their voices and say, no, stop. This is, cut it out. Half the stuff that they've put out there isn't real.
Yeah,
and
Dr. Sabine. Right?
Yeah, Dr. Sabine. She's in Germany now. She's very, very astute, profoundly. She's a particle physicist, and she's PO'd about it all. And she's trying to tell the truth. She has her own podcast.
It's fun to watch. She's interesting.
Yeah, that's right. There's
right.
there's just a lot going on. And if you keep running after if you're a rat in their trap, you're not going to hear the truth. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to step outside the box and look at everything as a whole and start digging and diving deep on your own to figure this out. And use common sense. And if you don't understand something, teach yourself what you need to know so you can understand it. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Michael. We'll get back to some current events, because I saw some other questions there that speak to that. Okay. This is a funny one, but a good question. Do ETs use ham radio? Smiley face.
No. Nope. No. They can hear you on it, but they don't use it themselves. No, not at all.
Well, we know they can hear people because during the Capitol flyover, they were radioing each other, and they noticed that the UFOs would respond to these radio messages between the planes.
Right.
And there's a number of cases where ETs will certainly affect radios. And I think there's a lot of monitoring going on in terms of what's being said. So as far as I know, they don't use radio.
Most of the time they don't use radio. It's too confusing for them because they're already wide open psychic and they can hear it without the radio. Sometimes they'll monitor the radios because humans can think one thing and say another. And so they usually have somebody listening to the frequency to see what they're up to. It's sort of a dynamic thing in the moment. Humans can make second by second decisions on things and think they're going to do one thing and then they do another. It's an interesting paradigm of humanity that they find interesting. Okay.
Here's a very interesting question from Olivia Escamilla. The question is, how are you able to express gratitude to the beings? I understand we aren't supposed to touch them. I'm a hugger. So
grateful. Do this. I'm grateful.
Wait, you're covering your mouth so I can't hear you.
Put your hand up to your face, bend forward, and you put your hands forward and you say, I'm grateful to you. Same thing as a hug.
That's kind of interesting. I'm trying to remember if I have any memories of ever hugging an ET.
No, they huff.
Yeah.
If they're interested, like if you know them really, really well and they're used to being you, they'll touch foreheads with you and inhale. They'll smell your pheromones. They have unbelievable senses of smell and they'll go like that, huff you, and they'll touch foreheads. That's as close as you can get to one. That's it.
So they're not really huggers then, huh?
Not
I
at all.
guess it's just us. All right. That's kind of interesting.
Has to do with microbes. Don't want them.
Do they hold hands?
No, not unless you're intimate.
Oh, okay. Two are going at it then.
Something like that.
All right. Okay, Dolly, put on your seatbelt for this one because we've talked about it. And this next one is from the Sunken Lantern. Is Dolly aware of the Galactic Federation? We've talked about this.
Humanity likes to paradolize everything or anthropomorphize things. Okay, if we're thinking it's happening, we put it on everybody else. No, they have no Galactic Federation. There is no federation. That is a word that we use for us and how we think about how government should be. They don't have a government. There are no governments. They have consensus. Whitley Strieber liked to call it communion. And everybody hears everybody. They're wide open psychic. They do bow to the knowledge of elders. Okay. If they have, like, if there is a reason to consult anybody, they'll consult an elder, somebody who has elevated more knowledge and experience than they have to help them walk through it. They'll be in consensus with them. They'll ask the question and then they'll all work it out together. But no, they do not have a government. They don't have a federation, not of any kind. We thought that up, not them.
Yeah, no money. There are a few contactees out there who put this forth. And honestly, if you look at their entire story, there's definitely raises some eyebrows for me, I would say.
You want to know what I really think about this, about why humans did this? When you're before, years and years and years ago, like let's go back to the 50s and the 40s when this is all starting to come about. What we see, we're working from our perspective, okay, or our understanding. And when we see them acting a certain way in our minds, we're thinking, okay, it's got to be this. And so we give it that name so that we can try to work with it or be comfortable with it. And so we accuse them of having a galactic federation when that's nothing of the sort, not at all. Unless you're 100% educated in everything to know about them that there is, it's really easy to put on them things that they're not really doing. And we've done that. And
that's what people do. They overlay their own belief systems onto everything they perceive.
Right.
There was a case that comes to mind, which I thought was really interesting, where a guy in Australia was having direct contact and asked the ETs flat out, is there a galactic federation? And they kind of tilted their head. He said, well, from your perspective, you might call it that, but no, we don't have that.
I just said that. Yeah.
So,
yes. It's all us. It's a weird thing, not that. Okay.
So, I can see how that might come into some people's mind when they see people cooperating together. But
right. And then we spread it amongst ourselves like gossip and then ground it and found it and said, that's the way it is. Nope.
Like that game telephone.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this one's minorly political. We don't do politics on this show, but I'm going to bring this one up anyway. Jordy Dan, question: have you heard any confirmation that Trump will be having a disclosure speech in May, originally said to be July?
No.
There's supposedly an insider, but who is this insider?
I want to give you a hint. No. He's busy. I doubt very seriously this is going to play into his rhetoric at all. As a matter of fact, he's stayed very far away from it. He drops bombs every now and then, but he's never said, I'm going to talk about this, ever, not one time. So don't expect it.
No, he's mentioned it a few times, the subject.
Right, but he's never said, I'm going to talk about this. No,
he kind of straddled the fence there, saying, yeah, I've some pilots, I've talked to them, they believe it. I think they're good people.
I'm not committing to talking about it, that's right. Yeah,
but I sure hope so. I think it's time that we have a sitting head of state, anywhere in the world. It would be great. I think it would be a step forward. We'll see. There's lots of rumors, but having been in this field for 40 years, I'm not
I
holding
want to
it
ask you all a question. Okay. This man is sitting in one of the highest power positions there are on this planet. Okay. And unless it falls in his lap, he really shouldn't talk about it. Okay. That's the position of the president of the United States. He's the commander in chief of our armies. He's in the executor of our, executive branch and leaderhead. And really, he's not going to jump into a pool that he's not invited into or has direct knowledge of. A president is only supposed to bring you the absolute truth that they know from experiential evidence. And unless that drops into his lap, no, he's not going to talk about it. Guarantee you he's not. So go ahead.
I hope so. I mean, I hope he does. But yeah, has any sitting president? No. So
No. No, only one sitting president said something, and that's Eisenhower, and he warned us all about the military-industrial complex. Think on that one. Okay. All right.
All right, we'll see. Okay. This is from Flubber Lane, and it kind of connects to this. Hi, Dolly and Preston. Question: is there a head universal leader of the alien species?
No, not at all. When I say consensus, try to imagine this. These are people who are able to communicate clear across the universe. They have evolved 1 billion in excess years of us and have the ability to know where everything is and who everybody is in the third dimension here, all the way across the universe. There's no one leader of nothing. We all have our own homes. We belong here. Nobody's the leader of us but us. Nobody's the leader of each of their home worlds but them. There's no such thing as a power or control thing. We have to stop thinking in terms of that. We don't need to be told what to do, and yet we ask for it here. No, you don't. We can work in consensus with one another like they do, where if I have an idea and I want to express it, I'm going to put it out there and say, can we work on this? And everybody gets together and everybody decides who wants to work on it. And then they do. That's consensus. And they've been doing this for a long time. And there is no world power, universal power, none of that does not exist.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. From what I understand, some ETs are very accomplished. There's no gray alien queen. I heard someone say that, and I'm like, ooh, gosh, no. They don't have that. You can, there are some really interesting contactee accounts where they go into depth about how they all become educated in whatever field they're looking to, and they can rise, to more and more wisdom and knowledge. Dolly, in our next book, where she's going to talk about how she was able to meet with elders who are very wise. And that would be the closest I think you could come to calling someone a leader, but they're not.
They're not. They don't need anybody. They're just elders.
They're there to provide guidance.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question, because certainly we have that here on this planet, and I think it's one of our big downfalls, honestly.
Right. I want to tell you a joke, just so you get it, okay? This will help you understand. I made a joke once to them when I was a teenager. You mean like a consigliere, a counselor? Because I was picking on mafia stuff, mafia thinking, because we mafia think here. And I got the dead silent treatment for an entire day until I backed that one up. And I got asked, why did I put it that way? And I said, well, and the answer came back very profoundly. No, we counsel no one, and we expect you to understand that if that comes out of your mouth ever in any operation of explaining us to anybody else, you're going to get in trouble. So don't do it. And you've never heard me say they counsel. They do not. They have elders. They're intelligent. They're experiential. When you have a problem, you can ask for help. I have never said no counsel, nothing, no leaders, nothing, nothing. Federation, none of that. It does not exist. They're not control freaks. We are. Okay.
Putting it lightly. Okay. I have not seen this footage. Aurora Comedy Vids. Have you guys seen the saucer footage from South Korea in 2021? Aliens or Kim Jong-un? Cannot comment. Haven't seen it. Now I have to look it up.
Yeah.
All right. Moving along. Sorry, Aurora. I'll have to look that one up. Carries 9919 asks, do you think Bigfoot and UFOs have any connection? I do. Not the one you might think. I became a Bigfoot researcher after running into a case where a guy had a UFO land in his backyard, essentially, and the next day had a Bigfoot encounter. So there was an obvious connection there. Started running into more cases like that. And if you look into a number of Bigfoot reports, there's like a million, not kidding, and more UFO reports than Bigfoot reports, I think. And the vast majority of them, over 99%, do not intersect. There's a couple hundred that do. So how do you explain this? What I think is going on here is that Bigfoot has been around forever. They're sentient. They're people like us. So yes, they are contactees. Some are going to go inside UFOs. Some are going to go up. Some are talking to the ETs. So of course, some are going to be seen in association with extraterrestrials and UFOs in the same way that people are. That's my current assessment. I don't think Bigfoot is ET.
I also want you to understand something else. I'm going to put an exclamation point on this. If you ever are in the deep, deep woods somewhere and you come up upon one, do not pursue it ever, because they are big animals that are smart enough to let you have it if they don't want you around. And you do not want to put yourself in a position to be had that way. They can be deadly to humankind when they want to be. That is an absolute fact. There are plenty of stories out there to prove that. Do not hunt one down ever, because they don't want you to come near them. They have stayed away from humankind. If they had wanted to see us, we would see them, overtly see them. They would have tried to interact with us. They want to be left alone, leave them alone. Okay? Right.
Yeah, there's some cases of hostile Bigfoot from people who have kind of pursued them or even got into their territory, because that can be territorial.
Right. The only reason gorillas are contacted is because they're very sweet, docile, loving little creatures. They're plant eaters. They don't eat meat, and you can contact a gorilla, which is very sentient, by the way, and they have a whole hierarchy, and you know they're there. This is not an animal like us that wants to be contacted, and they're smart enough to stay away from you. Don't chase them around. Don't. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Carries. That was fun. All right, this I did see. This is from Gage Edward 2613. Did you guys hear Obama admit aliens are real? It was an interesting interview. I saw some clips from it. And
he's a free person. He's allowed to say what he knows.
Yeah, he skirted a bit around the issue, but it was funny when he talked about, they asked him a question, then he gave a sort of coy answer, quickly grabbed his coffee cup and hit his face in it. I'm like, that's a kind of interesting reaction.
He has NDAs, I'm quite sure, but if he's trying to tell you they exist, let's do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel he probably knows more than perhaps the average president. Perhaps he was more in the loop with the military-industrial complex. Because just because you're president doesn't mean you are part of that cabal,
right?
So to speak.
Right, they'll tell you what they want you to know. That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting to hear him talk about it. I wish if he would spill all the beans instead of just giving us one or two.
If he wants to stand up like a contactee and open his mouth, I would love to hear it. Let him come to one of our things and have at it. Let him come to the podcast and talk about it. He's invited. Okay. We all have a voice. We should use our voice. So why not?
Okay. Thanks, guys, for delivering on the questions. They're lined up here. This
awesome.
Next one is an interesting one from Burns S, UT3DC. The question is, any quick tips for discerning when someone is being truthful about their UFO experience?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Think like a detective. If information changes over the course of an hour, where if you're taking notes and that they said this and then suddenly they're saying something else an hour down the road, you need to question that. You also need to question date, time, place, who, what, where, when, and why. In other words, you should be very careful about what you let somebody tell you. Don't let them talk at you. Be proactive and question them about their experience and carefully take down what they say. If you have to chart it or record it or whatever. We all act like gossip is gospel, and it is not. Okay. And you're a detective, just like the rest of us. You make up your mind whether it's truthful or not. You can discern the truth, but you have to know how to listen and how to observe what they're saying and pay attention to what they say. Hear them, and then you'll know. That's how you know.
Yeah, I think you have to be very careful because people do lie.
Yes.
I think people who are coming forward to sort of feel special or get fame or fortune are in for a rude surprise, because coming forward is often done at great risk to one's personal reputation. People get gaslit, ridiculed, disbelieved, and absolutely, I think there are clues you can tell when someone is telling the truth.
Right.
For me, I don't want to give away all my interviewing secrets, but if someone's asking for money, I'm really not interested in hearing their story.
No.
But if someone says, please don't use my name.
No.
When people get very emotional, when people start with some caveat, like, I don't do drugs. I've got a good education. There's no history of mental illness in my family. When tears form in their eyes as they try to talk about it, when they hold back details because they're looking at you to see how you are going to react. You really have to just learn to develop your intuition.
Right.
There are all kinds of little details that repeat in the extraterrestrial contact experience.
Right.
Even today are not well known, so I look for those. There's all kinds of little things.
There's something to be said for simple truth. Okay. When somebody's talking to you and they're giving you their truth, it's not complicated and it's easy. And there's not a lot of and a pausing and thinking about it, or an elevation of phantasmagorical facts. That tends to, set alarm bells. I've learned to hear whether this is, they're lonely, they're alone, they're this or that. I ask them personal questions because I'm trying to figure out, where is this coming from? Why are you telling me this? How come? There are people who have contacted me who have one just simple thing to say. This happened on this date at this time, and I can tell you all about it. And when I talk to them, by golly, they do. They just tell me exactly what happened. Nothing, no frills, no mess, no muss. Okay. And then they go quiet, dead quiet on me, like they're waiting for me to ask them a question, which is basically what happens. I got about 1 billion of them by the end of that. Where did you say it was? What time was it? And I start digging deep into the details. Okay. And if the details are there and quantified, and they have some proofs, like they wrote it down, or they have a neighbor who's a witness and they can remember the times and things like that. These are the things that you look for in truth. So try that.
All right. Good question, Burns. Thank you. Okay, Aurora Comedy Vids. This is kind of an interesting comment, which deserves a comment back. I was disappointed to hear Greys are bio-robots. I was hoping they were their own race.
They are. They're their own ethnicity. They have AI robots, or AI automatons is what I call them, because they're biological AI, and they're just under 4 feet tall and about 3 feet 5 inches. Some are a little bit smaller than that. Just depends on when they were made, what accoutrements they've got on them. But yes, the Greys, there's about 5 different ethnicities of Greys aside from them. So yeah, they're their own ethnicity.
I 100% agree. I've had a number of people tell me that they have never experienced the kind of love from a Grey, from any human being in their lives, not their wives, not their child.
Mm-hmm.
They use the same word, a love, what do they call it? Love like never before. Mm-hmm. So I thought, they're absolutely living biological beings, very much like us. And some are AI robots, but those are usually the ones that come down and scoop people up and are not terribly emotional. So people get this idea that, they're all like that. No, they're not. Good question. Thank you, Aurora. And now we're moving to the next one. And this is from All Work and Low Pay. Question. Are there any reports of blue-skinned, human-looking aliens that either of you know of? Or anyone in chat, for that matter? That comes up, doesn't it? I've heard, not blue, dark blue, but bluish.
People who like colloidal silver need to be careful because they can turn blue. Silver doesn't leave your body and it gets into your skin and it turns you silver blue.
Yeah, the human
Just
smoke.
saying.
I know that.
Unbelievably blue. Well, if you go back to India, and at the time of the Vimanas and all that, their principal gods are blue. That gives me pause because I've never seen an actual that color blue being. But we have a tendency to overemphasize things, and we talk about things until they become very big and overdone. And if you say something over and over again, over time, it can change. And I think that's what we're looking at, is these blue beings were probably grays. And because the grays have different ethnicities like we do, we have different color skin, and they can look quite blue at times. And yeah,
perhaps a hybrid. But definitely I've heard of blue skinned beings. The human looking ones look very much like us, with all the complexions and the variations of complexions we have on this planet. So you will see ones who have dark brown skin. There's that
depends on melanin,
almost black blue a little bit.
Black,
but lights, yellowish, peach, olive skinned, all the things that we see here, I think, do turn up with human looking ETs.
All the ETs. Yeah.
Which is why I don't like to call them Nordic.
Okay.
That is a good question. Thank you. And here is another one, and this one is aimed at you, Dolly, from Texas Cacti. Dolly, how do you get your special? Let me try again. Dolly, how do you get your spatial orientation when cruising in the spacecraft, whether in outer space or in reduced gravity?
That's a very good question. I am in remote view 100%. I remote my consciousness out into a part of a light ball. It's like a dodecahedron that gets really big once it's initialized. And the craft's consciousness is in it as well. We commingle, and I become one with the craft and the ship. And I don't need to reorient myself. I become that. And it's as natural to me as it's being while I'm talking to you now. It's my state of existence while I'm in that phase of consciousness. And so it's really easy. And when I come out of it, I'm just fine, no problem. So, but that's how it works.
Yeah, it's interesting because people will be taken on board and they look out the window and they're shocked to see that they're already way out in deep space. They don't feel a darn thing.
Right, well, they're inside a graviton wave bubble.
Yeah, which kind of speaks to that. It's not exactly the question, but all right. Now, before I pop up the next question, I do have an announcement. We're at the top of the hour. It's time to do our book giveaway. We're giving away 3 copies of Schoolyard UFO Encounters, and here's how it works. You get one guess. I'm going to repeat that twice. One guess. One guess of a number between 1 and 1,000. We have a secret number, but Dolly and I have agreed upon. Transmitting right now. Remote view me in my head, if you dare. So yeah, one guess. That this closes at the end of the show, about 10 minutes before. So get your guess in. One number between 1 and 1,000. 3 closest guesses get a signed copy of Schoolyard UFO Encounters. If you already have it, I'm certainly happy to provide you with another copy of one of my books. All right, and while you guys are pounding me with your guesses, I'm going to pop up another question for Dolly to ask. I have something to say about this, but Dolly, here is the question while I read all the numbers that are pouring in, and there's a lot of them. From Peter Van Horn. If only some abductees remember anything, what does that suggest about how many people might be having encounters without remembering anything? Did you get it?
A lot. A lot. Everybody has a memory. If you're not, I don't like the word abductee, contactees. Okay, let's go there. All right. Abduction is a bad word that the government wants you to use to make you afraid of them. Please stop doing it. It's contactee if you're contacted. Everybody has the ability to remember if you're remembering without fear, shock, or aversion. In other words, when you get contacted by them, some people go into dead shock, fight or flight. They'll freeze up. It's almost like going into catatonia, and they literally lose the entire experience. And there are a lot of people who do that because they're afraid. They're in shock. They don't know what's going on. It's totally bamboozled them, and they're freaking out. Now, repetitive contactees often do remember because it's so repetitive that they've finally gotten over the initial shock and awe of it, and they've lost the fear of it, and they're starting to really, 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 really remember. And there are a lot of people out there, I guarantee you, who have a lot of conscious memory, and they're not talking. And it's because they're keeping themselves out of the conversation for a reason. And it's basically, it's their experience, it's their knowledge, and they don't need to go jumping around about it. And I want y'all to understand that there are a lot of people like that, a lot. Okay. And it's more than you know. I mean, we're talking, ET knows every single human being that's born on this planet. And you have been contacted from at least once from birth, once from midlife, teenagerhood, and then once from adult life. And they just keep up with everybody. There's so many of them, you have no idea. And their abilities are so excelled, or, they just know who you are. And it's amazing. What I would say to everybody is this: why don't you want to remember? Why don't you want to learn to lose your fear? Why don't you want to realize that they really do exist and that they're brothers and sisters to us? And learn to, when you do see them, open your mouth and ask them questions. I can guarantee you on board, it's very rare for anybody to open their mouth and say, okay, why am I here? What's going on? What are you doing? Everybody's just sort of like, and watching. And it's annoying as heck for me because it's like, you got nothing to say about this? Nothing? Nope. They're terrified. And I wish they'd calm down about it and just say, hey, what are we doing here? Can I look out? Can I go here? Can I go there? They'll do it. They'll help you to remember if you want to. Think about that. Instead of watching Friday Night Frights, turn it off. Start thinking about what conversation you would have with them if you could remember seeing them. What would you ask? Dream about that. Intend for that to actually occur. If you learn how to OBE or use your consciousness to go out and amongst the ether and everywhere, ask a question, ask the all-mind a question, like you pray, people pray, ask God questions, same thing. Ask the all-mind, it's what ET refers to God. They'll answer you, but you got to be willing to hear the answer and not overlay it with a bunch of coming from your brain. You always want to know everything. We want to be told everything, but we don't want to listen to what it means or what it says. Think about that. And it might help y'all out a lot. It might actually give you some foundation to work toward elevating yourself to being able to use your abilities and things like that.
Yeah, it's a lot more than people think, even within the UFO community, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a number of contactees who feel exactly what Dolly is saying, that pretty much everybody has had some level of contact. Sorry, I'm trying so hard to keep up with these numbers.
That's okay. This comes up a lot. I want to talk about something real quick. Everybody asks me about their propulsion systems. They do not use propulsion in any way, shape, or form. Propulsing means that you've got an engine that sucks air in, atmosphere in, and shoots it out the tailpipe so that you propulse along that stream of air being heated up and being concentrated at the tailpipe so that it pushes you forward. That is not how it works for them. they use antigrav technology, light technology, graviton wave technology, and it's all electrical. It's light, and it creates many different things. And I want to talk on one of them because people are trying to figure out what this is and what that is, and I'm just going to go straight into it. Okay, there are dead places in space, where there's absolutely nothing, and I say, "Oh, anti-gravity, what is that? Dark matter." Nope. That is a graviton wave bubble that's in space. It's huge. It's an electrical graviton wave bubble, and it is so powerful that it bends light around it. So all you see is reflected space that only shows you nothing inside and everything outside of it. And people go crazy when they see it. It's like, well, look at this. It's almost like you see this universe, and it's or a galaxy, and it's compressed like this, and it's got an open end down here, and these two huge bubbles of nothing. That is a graviton wave bubble, and it is the same kind of graviton wave that ET creates with electricity to create a bubble of graviton wave around them, and it seals you in space-time. In other words, you go outside the third dimension, you go outside of space-time, and you're held in stasis in a protective environment where nothing can touch you. They use several layers of it. There's one on the inside to keep you okay on the inside, and there's one outside the craft, and then there would be another one when they light gate. There's 3 of them. When they come into atmosphere with us, they're using 2. And 2 graviton wave bubbles. And it's amazing how it operates. The reason that Lazar and everybody else thought it would be antimatter is because it's really hard when you get a bunch of physicists going, well, it has to be antimatter because what else could it be? It's light. It's electrical. All light is electrical. And they need to learn that at the basis of everything, it's light, proton light. And we're all connected by it. It's just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And heavy graviton waves bend light to the point that you can't see what's behind it. That's why you see black holes as a singularity, because you can't see inside it. You can only see what's whirling around it energetically. But they do know that black holes are not singularities because what goes in does come out. They do shoot energy out of them like a quasar. And they're just now starting to tell you all the truth about that.
All right, I'm
okay.
ready.
All right.
Thanks for holding that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's all on us to try to remember this stuff. Okay, thanks, Dolly.
You're welcome.
Let me see. Question for you both. Are Dracos as bad as what everyone says they are? You want to start, Dolly, or shall I?
You go.
No, we're not. I think people are people. From what I understand, the reptilians are another ethnicity, so to speak. They've been here on this planet longer than we have, and have gotten something of a bad rap. I think there's a lot of disinformation about them out there. I don't think that they are running our country or in disguise or anything like this. Barbara Lamb is a researcher I really respect who reported a very friendly encounter with a reptilian being. There was another lady, Pamela Stonebrook, also said that her encounters were nice. Not all have been. Dolly had an encounter, which she talked about at least 5 or 10 times here on the Light Gate, which I think shows why some people might say, they were a little scary. But no, I don't think that they're evil. But I don't get a lot of reptilian cases, so I really can't speak to them. And a lot of the information that's out there, I frankly don't trust. So it's hard for me to answer that question.
All right. Well, reptiles rule this planet. You know that, right? Gators, everything, crocodiles, caimans, they're all different, frogs, amphibians. These are reptilian creatures, lizards, Komodo dragons, you name it. They all got that reptilian thing going on. All different kinds of them, even in the water. They're reptilians in the water. Yeah, they've evolved on this planet, and they're older than we are, and they're old as way back to the time of the dinosaurs. They're sentient, and ET knows who they are. I think the government's here got a hold of them, and they've been experimenting on them, and they don't like it. Just saying, and neither does ET. I did run into one. I was in the Everglades. I was digging up an Indian burial mound in a hammock head, out in the Everglades, and it walked up behind me. I could hear it thinking. It was really hungry. It was looking for dinner, and I could hear it thinking. And all I did was turn slightly. When I saw it, my brain went straight to fight or flight, and my beat said go. And I did. Poof, boom, I ran. I ran right off that hammock into the water with the sawgrass, cut myself up really good, got to my canoe, got in my canoe, and left as fast as I could. Left everything behind me, did not stay for it. I didn't work up the guts to go back for a month. I mean, I did, half my stuff was gone, scattered, scavenged, whatever. And as the years went by, finally I, faced Tawada off about it, like, look, you're going to talk to me about this. What the heck? Was that what they call a reptilian? And he said, of a sort. And he said, it wasn't going to hurt you. If it wanted to, you'd be dead. It would pound you at any time, which I believe wholeheartedly. It was twice my size. So I don't think they're bad. I didn't get evil off it. I just got, I'm hungry. I need dinner. That's what I got. And I was
hungry.
I was going to eat dinner, so I left.
Yeah. Is a shark evil? No.
No.
What happens when you encounter one? It's very scary.
Are we evil because we eat meat? No. Think about it. Okay.
This is a good question from Ogaz Hanardik. Do ETs eat food like us humans? Yes.
Depends.
Right?
Yeah, it depends on the ethnicity.
The human-looking ones, certainly.
Well, we were planted on this planet, so we developed the ability to eat plants here as well as meat. We weren't designed for it. We were designed to eat meat. We're carnivores. We have crushing teeth to crush bones, not plants. Over the centuries, we stupidly have believed and have hurt ourselves with plant foods that you don't realize you're hurting yourself with. The Greys mostly eat meat all the time. The whites, the ones that look like us, they eat meat and they eat some types of vegetation, but nothing like we do. And they don't eat bread ever. No bread, no grains, nothing. They say that's bad for you. Don't touch it. When I'm on board with them, I would eat fish. I would eat this pasty stuff that was some sort of gelatin meat. Okay. I had water. They would let me have tea. They always managed to have tea for me. Their tea, not my tea. But I'm a fish eater. Preston will tell you, I crave fish all the time. I love fish. I'll eat fish 24/7 if I could. And but I don't like it here because it's poisoned here. We put too much crud into the sea, and now it's not good for you.
It's one of the reasons I think they will tell people to be careful about eating meat. Because that does turn up. People
don't eat poisoned meat. Yeah.
People have, been given fruit on board. People have been given sort of a bitter chocolate type of thing, but wasn't chocolate. It's, what's his name? Joshua Cutchin wrote a whole book on this sort of thing, where people have been given food of some kind. So yeah, from what I understand. What about the little AI grays? Do they absorb nutrients by rubbing something on their body?
They don't absorb it. No, it's not eating. They'll put stuff on their skin because they need to keep their skin moist and not dry out, just like us. It's porous. But they don't eat that way. They actually have a mouth, and they drink a gel that feeds their biological nature. Yeah. But they don't digest like we do at all. They don't have an exit like we do. It's all used.
The ET pancakes.
It does leach out their skin. Sometimes you'll see them and they'll look greasy or sweaty. It's not. They're leaching out what they drink. They're processing out. Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, for both Preston and Dolly from Flea Market Gold. What are your tips for being able to get in a really good trance state for hypnosis? I have a few tips. One would be to practice meditation first. Another would be to really get to know the person who is doing your hypnotic regression. If you have any mistrust or fear, it's not going to be easy to reach that level of relaxation. If it's all about, I think, fear, honestly. If you are really wanting to recover your memories and you're still scared of what you might uncover, it might be difficult for you because there's part of you that's saying, oh, I don't want to know. So I think writing down everything you remember, really coming to terms with, this is an experience that I really want to remember. You might not even need hypnosis if you can basically meditate yourself. But that would be my tips. You can go through the whole standard relaxation technique, which is going through your various muscle groups and just letting go. And there's all kinds of techniques to learn how to relax, but ultimately that's what it comes down to, relaxing the body and the mind. That would be my tips. I don't know, Dolly, what do you think?
Yes, relaxing your body down to a point where it's not involved in what your thinking processes are, and then telling your physical mind that you need it to go quiet, to go blank for you, and to allow your consciousness to connect up into total consciousness, who you really are, and then actually reprocess the information. In other words, begin at the beginning of that day and you relive it second by second by second, what you do remember. And you'll see that your brain will start saying, well, this happened next, and then you remember that and then you write it down. Next session, it might take 2 or 3 sessions for you to recall an experience. I don't like to use the word memories because our memories can be faulty, but what you can do is remember an experience. Your brain understands what experiences are and will give more information to you through an experience than it will a cold memory, because memory can fade away. Memory isn't permanent, but experience, your body takes it in, every cell in your body knows what it is, and your consciousness knows it too. So you go into an experience. So if I was going to do it, and I want to remember the day that I was 14, I sat down very quietly. It was dark, sunk to the floor, literally, in the bathroom, locked the door. And I closed my eyes and I started reliving that day, what happened, second by second by second, with nobody bugging me and me perfectly knowing where I was and being perfectly okay with myself to do so. It popped my head up. I mean, I re-experienced it all.
It's definitely doable.
Yeah. You can do it. But write it down, because memory can fade. Your hippocampus can let it go,
One gentleman I interviewed, Joe Gardner, had a major missing time, and he was visited by Dr. Leo Sprinkle, who was the first guy, a trained psychologist, to really do this. And he told him, I'd like you to try meditation first, and I'll give you the techniques. And it was basically self-hypnosis, and it worked for him. So definitely something worth checking. But I got in a discussion with a guy recently on Facebook. He's like, I don't trust hypnosis. It does work. It done incorrectly, you've got to be very careful, because it's been proven to be unreliable done incorrectly. It's been proven to be reliable done correctly. So
you don't want somebody talking you into something you didn't do or remember. Right. That's the whole point.
Okay. Thanks for that question. And here's a really good one, Dolly. I think you might like this one. This is from Will Wonder. How can one best support their hybrid children? What do they need from their human parents, especially relating to hybrid human fathers?
Send them as much goodwill and love as you can. Always think of them in the positive. Always let them know that you're available if they want to come to you and talk to you. Always give them anything that you've got wisdom. If you got something to say to them today, talk to them. Tell them, you know what I learned today? Talk to your children. Send them every message, good thing every day that you can. Just like any parent would on this planet. be a parent in your mind, send it to them. Yep.
Yeah, one gentleman I interviewed in upstate New York had a lot of missing time and finally had a fully conscious onboard encounter where he was shown his hybrid son. And the ETs told him, aren't you happy? You need to know this is why you've been having contact. Here's your child. What do you think? And he had a whole range of emotions. He was very angry. He was somewhat repulsed, but he was overcome with this absolute feeling of nurturing for his child. Imagine how the child felt when he saw all these emotions going through his essentially father, because they're very telepathic. So when you think of them, think of them in love, because I think that's ultimately the most powerful force in the universe. And this is true no matter who you are, ET or our loved ones. If you pray for them on the other side after they've passed on, they feel it. Yep. You send them love, they absolutely know it. Right. And here as well. So I think that's the best thing you can do, is just think of someone in love. All right. Here is another interesting one about cleanliness from Yedium. How do different groups shower and clean themselves on board? Is it the same process as it is on their home planet? Do different species use the same system? These are good questions.
They all pretty well, it just depends on your specific and anatomical needs, but everybody can, because water is not available to you like to take a bath or anything when you're on a mission, like in space, whatever. They wipe down and they use a type of ultraviolet shower of light that kills microbes and stuff like that. And they'll sit under the shower. It's very highly developed from them. And I call it the sprinkle shower. And you just sit under it and let you go. And you towel off and the towel gets, disposed of and incinerated, and you put on a new outfit. Our hair is another matter entirely. I've been instructed that I'm probably one of the most bathy persons you'll ever meet in your life. I bathe every day, sometimes twice a day. And that's because I was taught that I should never, ever be expected to be taken up if I'm dirty. And so I've always bathed and washed my hair thoroughly, and I would plait it, put it in braids, or I would have really short hair. And it made it easier for me to be on, because their temperature on board is technically warm to us. It's in the high 70s on board, sometimes around 82 is their comfort zone, and we tend to sweat in that. So yeah, to be clean when you first come on is imperative and important. And I keep my hair. I'm also in an electromagnetic environment. My hair can tend to go, fan out, and it's not a good thing. So I always plait it back or ponytail it or cut it really short, so I can't do that. So yeah.
All right. One more announcement. Book giveaway. Closest winning number gets a free book. 3 winners. Still time to guess your number between 1 and 1,000. One guess only. We've got some people who look like they're going to win, unless you have not given your guess yet. One guess only. One number between 1 and 1,000, and you win a book. Winners will be announced shortly. All right. Moving along. We've got like 40 questions, Dolly. So let's see if we can get this done.
Okay.
I do want to say something about this question. Betty Andreasen talked about how she was given a light shower.
That's what I'm talking about, the sparkle shower, yeah.
Another guy, Don Anderson, said the same darn thing. He asked them what that was, and they tilted their head and said, soap. So, I thought that was interesting. I've heard that a few times.
And microbial soap, that's right, yeah.
Okay. Flea Market Gold question for both Preston and Dolly. What do you think the orangish orbs are I see so regularly? They always show up the same time in the same place. You would know better than anybody, Flea Market Gold. This is your experience. My suggestion to you would be to really meditate on it, reach out telepathically to it, investigate from a scientific angle. Are you near a military base? Is there any sound
near an electric conduit, that kind of thing, yeah.
Do they have hard edges? Are they soft edged? How are they moving? How close do they get to you? Record all of these details down. Do your research on this sort of thing. It could be spiritual, could be ET, could be reverse engineered. So it's very hard to say without more information. But my guess would fall into one of those three categories. Seen regularly, huh? That's interesting to me. I don't know. I need more information to really get a more solid.
I need to know where you live, what kind of house you got. I mean, there's a billion questions I would ask you. So if you ever want to have a long conversation one day, let us know. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to answer this one at least first. 888 out there wants to know, does the CIA have control over MUFON? No, not necessarily. Are they aware of it? Obviously. This intelligence agencies take this subject incredibly seriously. And I have yet to see any civilian UFO group that hasn't been what I would call infiltrated. So they're 100% aware of everything that's going on. Privacy is an illusion. APRO was really the first group of any size, and they were absolutely infiltrated and observed by the CIA. Is it controlled by them? I'm not sure I'm ready to go that far. But I do find it curious that
part of the bloody Pentagon. Figure it out. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm nervous about it because this subject is very hard to move forward. And I support MUFON. I think there's lovely people, particularly in the state chapters. They've had some high turnover in terms of the head position there. And some you can trace them. They will talk about it. Oh, yeah, I was in military intelligence. Like, you were? Okay. That raises an eyebrow for me. But, NICAP, they had troubles with military intelligence. MUFON, its membership needs to grow much more quickly than it is, I think. The subject is still kind of stalled. We should be moving much more forward, I guess, than we are. So take that for what it might mean.
Don't worry about them. They worry about themselves.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what they anyway. Okay.
I'm going to go have to look at some of these other numbers. It looks like we got some more guesses coming in. But this question from Michael Kennedy. Question: do ETs and all non-human intelligence worship other gods? If they just worship God as an all-mind, what made it? What predated God? Do all aliens have religion? So I guess it's just ultimately,
it's not a religion. They don't quote have religion. They understand the universe in a way that we do not yet. So it's hard to explain this, but God to them, they call the all mind. And that's because we're all components within the mind of the all mind. And we are connected, like the saying, you are me, I am you, we are all one. We're all one inside the mind of the all mind, and we have autonomy. And that is to say that we're able to think of ourselves on our own, and we think independently of it, but we're still connected to it. That's how you can communicate with it, and it can communicate with you. There is a broader picture, I was taught, when I started thinking about this stuff, I was taught that there's a macro universe and a micro universe. And in all of this, there are patterns of existence that have rules, and let's all go back to electricity. It's all electric. And, people want to talk about multiverses. Well, I wouldn't think of it that way exactly. Our universe is in a bubble, and it's got its rules, okay? And other universes would be in a bubble too. And how are we all connected? We're connected by conduit electricity. Like we have a brain, and we have bubbles of electricity in our brain. We have nodes and electrons and firing pins and all kinds of stuff going on. Well, think about the entire macro existence of multi-universes living like a brain together, and each bubble is its own universe, and it can communicate back and forth. There's a lot to learn about this or to understand about it, but until everybody here can understand what the math would be, the maths for that, I wouldn't try to explain it to you. There's no point, but I will tell you that it is electric, it is light, and we're all in it together. And yes, they know that we are a part of a greater thing than ourselves. And the idea that we're coming here and learning in this dimension is to elevate our abilities, our consciousness, our wisdom, our knowledge, to be able to converse or have open conversations with the rest of our all mind, to get in there. What happens when you reach the same level as the entirety of the all mind? What happens to you next? That remains to be seen. These are all questions that we could ask if you start to understand what the reality of all this really is. So.
All right. Still have like 40 questions, so let's go quickly. I'll give you 3 minutes for this one, Dolly. Or more if you need it. Fine. This is from Fun Talks TV. I like this question. What other different animals are there out there?
Ooh. Well, I have to tell you one that lives here that's from out there is giraffes. They did not come from here. Not at all. They got put here with us. Hey, have fun with this. We have some examples of that around where you look at it and you go, where did that come from? How come it can live here like this,
Octopus, platypus.
Platypus, yeah. Octopus, yes. We're a diverse planet, and we have a lot of stuff here that comes from out there as well, and yet we all living together here, and it's like it's a big educative tool for us to explore and understand that we're not alone. This didn't originate here. What are you talking about, Darwin? What?
So what other animals are there out there? Are there space cows?
Are there space cows?
You know what I mean?
Not exactly like ours. Well, it just depends on the gravity and how big they get. I mean, you know what a gaur bull is? That's from Africa. And those suckers weigh 1,800 pounds on the hoof. And they're like Brahmas. Our Brahmas are a cross between a gaur and a regular, cow. Our Herefords. And you make a Brahma. And they got the long floppy ears, and they have horns, and they got that big thing on the back of their neck, and they weigh about 800 to 1,000 pounds. A really big bull could weigh almost 1,200
pounds.
On
other planets?
Yeah, they eat meat. Remember, they everywhere. If you got a planet, it's got the same conditions we do. You bet they got something like this on that planet. Yep.
So there's birds.
They have fish. They have everything. Yeah.
Bugs. Are there giant bugs on other planets?
Yes.
What's the weirdest animal you've ever seen?
It's an animal that you can't see, but it's there until it wants you to see it. And it's not a predator. It just uses it for defense. And when you do see it, you go, huh? Because it's you think you know what you're going to see when you see it, and then when you do, you go, huh? Because it's spiky looking and kind of like a multi-spiked starfish kind of thing, and it lives in the water, and you don't know it's there till it's there, and it just goes whoop, and it's blue and yellow. Yes, bigger than me. And you just go, hi, how you doing? And get away. Yep.
All right. I bet you could write a book on that. All right, maybe we should. All right. Let me see. I like this question. Beth. Okay. Beth Pepper Coates. Question. Why would UFOs start visiting me at age 40 while going through breast cancer, chemo, and radiation? I saw them several times a week for 15 years. First of all, God bless you. I hope you're well. Sending you healing energy. The things we go through on this planet, in this third dimension, are very difficult. ETs show up when people are going through a time in their life. I've got case after case of people who've had an encounter on their birthday. That happened to me. When they've had a divorce, when they've had a messy breakup, when they've had a child, when they reached a point of having a spiritual breakthrough, when they suddenly remember their encounters. There's all these reasons. And when they're having a devastating illness, they will come and help people through that. So it depends, I think, individually, but it's definitely something that I've seen.
If you're a
ETs will
contactee
come.
and you didn't see them and realize they were there 2 or 4 days, it's because you probably needed comforting and you were willing to accept seeing them at that point. We change when we're under duress. You realize that, right? You know, you should know that. You've had cancer. We become more open to help. And that's when you lose your fear. And I mean, what are you going to be afraid of, right? And that's how you start seeing them or remembering them. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. That was a good question. All right. Perennial philosophy question. What are your thoughts on Marshall Summers' book about the allies of humanity? Other than no comment, I will say it's one person's channeled material which does not align with the vast majority of first-hand cases. So that raises my eyebrows. So I want to be very polite about it because I respect people, and I wish nothing but the best for everybody, but it certainly does not align with what I found out in my research. I've got the book, by the way, and there's the other one. I saw him once. We didn't really talk, but some interesting things he's saying, but that's my response. Okay. Moving along. Another good one. This is from Leo Mega. Hello, sorry I'm late. No worries.
It's
May
okay.
I ask how hard it is to access the Akashic field, and how does it help us now?
It's not a field. It's not really a library. It's you tapping into your experiential, collective experiences of who you really are. Everything about you is known by your consciousness, and you're in source, and that's where the Akashic is, you in source. Other people cannot read you in source. Only you can read you in source. And so you have to learn how to do that. And that would be to meditate, learn to OBE, very gently start experiencing with getting toward you in source and allowing yourself to experience what you already know. That's what you do.
Yeah, I think it's intent, desire, courage, educating yourself, applied knowledge. If you can learn how to do astral projection, you are halfway there. I was probably doing it for about, 10 or 15 years before I finally just really set that intent and did it. And it was the coolest experience ever. So I would certainly encourage people to do it. I will say that I wouldn't necessarily look to someone else to get this knowledge. You are the one who has access to your Akashic record.
I want to put it to you on a very, very bottom. Everybody can get this, okay? You're your own person, you're your own entity, you have your own abilities, okay? Only you can really heal yourself. And you can't go around blaming everything and every experience you've ever had as to why you're messed up and that's why you're going to stay that way. No, that's not how this works. If you're not connected to yourself, rightly connected to yourself, and you know who you are, what you're all about, you can take care of you. Healthcare on this planet is very, 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 very dubious and sometimes sinister because we should not tell people what to do to heal. You can't do that. All I can do is tell you these simple things. You have a mind, a physical mind that's habitual. And if you want to break the habit, you have to build a better one to replace it. You. Okay? Me. We're all responsible for ourselves. If we all worried about taking care of ourselves and helping and healing ourselves before we try to do anything for anybody else, we'd all be a lot better off because we wouldn't let crazy go out into the universe like we do. There's no excuse for you telling somebody, I'm all messed up and I'm all bent up and I can't get in and I'm going to treat you really crappy because of that. Excuse me? I'm not going to talk to you anymore if you're going to act like that. Bye-bye. See you. Woo-woo. Get away from me because I'm busy taking care of myself and healing myself, and I'm coming at you with love. And if you're not going to do it in a loving way, bye. And that's what we all need to learn how to do. Nobody can tell you what your memories are or what your experiences are. Your Akashic knowledge is you, your consciousness, and it's in source. And for somebody to tell you this is what you have to do, da 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 da, no, go within to go without. That saying is valid 100% of the time, all day long. Know all that is knowable about yourself and then proceed. This is the greatest gift that we can give each other is to tell each other the bloody truth and tell it in love. And I'm telling you in love. I love you enough to tell you that you are a wonderful, beautiful being. You have everything going for you. And all you have to do is tap into it at will. That's all you have to do.
I love that. Thank you. I got nerfed. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I am going to just pop this question up real quick, which is asking about me. You have a very even-keeled temperament. Would you say you've evolved to this accomplishment, or have you always been this way? Oh,
Which
no,
one?
I evolved. I used to cry when I was a boy. I was a crybaby. I was. But, when my mom passed away when I was 19 years old, that really woke me up because I was living in absolute terror and fear and decided this is ridiculous. I found out there were liars on this planet. There was corruption. There was a cover-up. So that really set me to working hard on myself and discovering my own personal power and trying to become a very good person and conquering yourself. And Dolly talks about this as well. This is one of the reasons she's been able to do so well with the ETs, because she's worked really hard on that. I can't stress that enough. If you can conquer other worlds, but you will never go anywhere until you conquer yourself. So I'm still working on it. I get mad. You bet I do. But, we're all human.
We are all here to experience all the emotions, okay? Joy, shock, fever, pain, all of it. Anything that can cause an emotion in you, you're here to experience it. How you work your way through it is up to you, okay? And you can either do it with as much concentration or self-will as you can, will on yourself, intended to figure out what you can do to help yourself, resource, figure it out, or you can be a victim of it and be miserable most of your life. It's just up to all of us. And if you see somebody, like if you're helping yourself and you're good at it, okay, and you've conquered something and you see somebody going through the same thing, sit down with them and say, you know what, I have had these experiences, and let them talk. Let them get it off their chest. And then what you say is, this is what I thought to do for myself, and let them listen to you. And maybe you can help them find a path to themselves to figure it out for themselves as well. Listening is the greatest gift you can give anybody.
Yeah, and we're offered challenges. I love the comments you're making, Beth Pepper's Coates, how that experience that was initially quite tragic for you really opened doors to help you change your life. That's so cool. Yes, and this is what this school, so to speak, offers us.
Yep.
So look at that. All right. See. Good. Question from Flea Market Gold. Do ETs go to heaven? Do we get
to do? Everybody does. We're all in source together. We're all in this universe, and we all live in it together at the same time. And we're all in source together. And just because we have a different ethnicity or we live in a different place in the universe doesn't mean that we all don't go to the same place. Yes, we do.
Yep. Period. And you can absolutely do it right now because we are already there.
Yep.
And you'll see ETs there as well.
Yep.
There are people who've been taken on board and shown deceased loved ones, had visits with them. So, all right. Okay, we're going to just touch on this because this is something that does come up in some channeled writings often. This is from the Sunken Lantern. Are you aware of this shift? Not in the individual sense, but in the mass shift of humanity to the fifth dimension. We are in the fifth dimension. We are in the sixth. We're all connected to that. Humanity is not going to shift to a higher dimension. We
No,
came down to the
you're-
third dimension to learn.
Yeah, this body that you're in right now is going to do what it's going to do here, and then you're going to leave it off and you're going to leave and go back towards source, and you're going to start over again somewhere else. If you want to be born into another dimensional space, you have to acquire the wisdom and the knowledge to get there. You're at level 3. That's how I try to tell people. See the 12 levels? You're at level 3. Finish and go to. We're almost in level 4. We're actually level 3, 4 here. Okay. If you want to be a level 5th dimension person, get through this life and be ready to transition into that then. But no, not everybody's going to go at the same time. You have to work and gain the knowledge. Reward without work is nothing, and you gain nothing from it. So think about that.
So you will go to the 5th dimension at some point. So
Yeah.
it's something to look forward to. So yeah, in the sense that is true.
Work it.
But yeah, we're all going to have to, continue to gain experience to get to that level,
Right?
So to speak. All right. Let me see. This is another question that you can answer better than anyone else, Olivia. I went to bed but was not asleep yet when I heard near me some clicking sounds that were very quick. I wondered if that might have been a being saying something to me. I will say the mantids, people reported a very clicking kind of language. I'd wonder when that happened. But this could be a number of different things, because you can be traveling out of body and makes all these kind of weird clicking sounds, popping sounds. It could be a spiritual
It
entity.
could have been a loved one trying to talk to you. Tap 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 tap, click 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 click. It could be anything. Yeah.
When something unexplained happens to you, what I recommend people do is immediately clear your mind, relax, and try to trace it intuitively. Go within and really think about it. If you had a missing time encounter, it was Melinda Leslie talked about this. She had missing time. She immediately sat on her bed and just meditated and remembered the whole darn thing. So that would be something I would do if something like that happens again. Even if if you're feeling really bad for some reason, figure out why. If you're behaving in a way that surprises you,
Yeah.
trace it.
I want to make a point about something while you're saying this. I want to add something into this appropriate moment. Do not use drugs. Do not use DMT. Do not use whatever that stuff is, because all you do is locking yourself in your physical mind and you can't get out. Okay? ETs don't use drugs. They use drugs here to control you. Okay, go ahead.
All right, a bit of a non sequitur, but absolutely good advice, and I 100% agree with it. All right, Fun Talks TV. Is the universe expanding? Have ETs visited the threshold of creation? What's at the edge of infinity, Dolly?
There is no edge. It's infinite.
So
I hate to tell you this, there is no time. We're all locked in here, so in the 3rd dimension, 4th dimension. So you see there's an arrow of time, and this is all your physical mind can conceive of it. But trust me, there's no such thing. It doesn't exist. You think it does here, but no. So infinity is, the letter 8 turned sideways, the infinite loop. That's infinity. It never ends. Never, ever,
oh
ever.
my gosh, we're almost.
Okay.
Well, we're never going to get to these questions. I just realized we have a few minutes left.
Okay.
Darn it. So let me just see if I can find it. I'm going to have to skip some of these questions, you guys, because there's no way we're going to be able to answer all of these. Alexander Hat Julis. Are OBEs and NHI connected?
Please stop using that word.
NHI.
Non-human intelligence is a construct of the people here who want you to think that ETs are bad and different from you. They are not. They're as human as we are. That our biological template is throughout the entire universe. They're just different ethnicities. We all have the same DNA. It just dials up differently. No such thing as non-human intelligence. Please erase that from your vocabulary. Stop it. We all have the same mind. We are all sentient beings. We all have bodies and we all have DNA, and we are most certainly all human unless you're a vegetable, okay? Just don't worry about it. We're the same, exactly the same. What's the rest of the question?
And are OBEs and NHI connected?
OBEs are connected to everything. You're connected to everything. If you find a way to OBE from your body, out of body, you are swimming in it, baby. Go for it. It's all connected, all of it. Okay.
All right. Just got a few more time for a few more questions. Astrid Luder. Do ETs wear clothes for modesty or for practical reasons?
Practical. If it's too bloody cold, trust me, they're putting something on, okay? They're not superhuman. They get cold. They'll put clothes on. And yes, it's
All
practical.
Right.
Okay.
I agree. Are ET newborns and hybrids born with fully developed mental capacity? Or do they learn like babies?
They're in a body that is a baby body that they have to learn to control. And their consciousness is very aware, and they are extremely advanced that way, yes. I was very aware when I was born as an infant. I remember being born. I remember all of it. And I remember thinking, look, I've got 5 toes. Freak me out. So, yeah.
All right. I think we're going to have to close it up here. We're at 5 minutes before the hour. Let me see. Is there any last one I can stick in here? Oh gosh, no, we really should probably just, here, one last one, why not? Why do you think ETs tell specific people about future events?
Like your consciousness is able to talk to them, okay? When they're talking to you telepathically, they know everything about you. And if you have a concern or worry about something or something that you're going on about or something that you probably need protection from or to be warned about, they will tell you because they expect you to do something about it. Research it yourself. They're giving you a challenge. Think this one through.
All right. So now it's time to let you all know who won the contest. And I tried to make stars, but let me see. The secret number was 614. So it looks like Holistic MD came closest, 616. Again, our secret number was 614. I believe the other closest one was, let me see. Gosh, I tried to mark it down. 647, Joe Monica. And AM 730 guessed 621. So that was just 7 off. And that's the one I tried to put a star next to, but I don't see it here. So yeah, it's 621 AM 730, 647 Joe Monica, and 616 Holistic MD.
So what we want you to do is write an email to Preston at PrestonUFO@gmail.com and say, we need your address so that we can mail the book to you post haste. So if you do that tonight, we will love you forever. Make it easy on everybody. And we'll get it out to you as fast as we can. We don't have a mailbox. We have to go to a post office where we have a box and we do all our stuff. And we'll bring it out to you as fast as we get that address. So PrestonUFO@gmail.com.
Yeah. Okay? And thanks,
right.
Guys. If you feel like, wait, you skipped my number was closer, let me know. Because, it's hard for me
to go back and reread the comments, yeah.
But I do my best. So, yeah, definitely email me. There's my email on the ticker tape below, PrestonUFO@gmail.com. If you've had the book, Schoolyard UFO Encounters, you can certainly ask me for another one. Thanks so much, you guys. This was so much fun. I wish we could just stay forever, but we absolutely adore that you could spend your day with us, your evening, if it may be. Namaste, Sunny Burnett, all of you guys who donated as well. Special thanks to you guys. It means a lot. We love you dearly.
Love you.
Thank you. All right, we better get going because we're now pushing. We have 1 minute to get out of here.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for visiting us on the Light Gate on this Monday night. I hope you all are well and happy and warm and have everything you need in this life. We love you very much. See you next week. We are coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast. We're on Facebook, we're on Roku, we're on Rumble, and we're on YouTube. All right, everybody. Mwah. Later.
Thank you, Joe.